Actors can be huge jerks, and the people who seem to be lovable and kind on screen can be horrible in real life. It's called acting for a reason, I guess. I'm Mackenzie, and let's get into the top 10 actors who are mean in real life. Part 2, but make sure to subscribe if you're new here. And at number 10, we have Hilary Duff. Hilary Duff is probably one of the most beloved Disney Channel actors ever, but she has a bit of a mean side to her. In 2018, Hilary got into a bit of a scandal as people called her out for bullying her neighbor. The story here was that Hilary was ranting online about how much that she hated her neighbor. Relatable. Even calling out their bad habits like smoking in the apartment and not taking the trash out properly. Duff even called the neighbor out for not paying their own rent, saying in one of her Instagram stories, quote, "We know your parents pay your rent. We know you've never worked a day in your life. It must be nice." And even though everyone can understand ranting about a neighbor, Duff crossed a major line when she posted the name and Instagram profile of the neighbor on her story, which is a massive privacy issue that made fans think Hilary was using her followers to hate on this person. Instagram even took down her videos because they violated the platform's terms. And at number 9, Armie Hammer. So I don't want any of you guys to think that I'm putting the allegations against Armie Hammer lightly, because this man is obviously a lot more than just mean. Over the past few months, serious allegations have come forward against Hammer, including the fact that he had dangerous and harmful fantasies that he would play out while sleeping with women. More recently, an allegation came out that Armie forced himself on a woman, and he might even be responsible for a number of more heinous crimes. Because of these allegations, Armie has been dropped from practically all projects that he had signed on to be a part of. Currently, Armie is denying all allegations, but the evidence against him is mounting. In at number 8, Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence is one of the few celebrities who's actually admitted to being mean, and on purpose. Jennifer says this is a way to defend herself against fans and paparazzi who might want too much from her and make them leave her alone. In an interview with Variety, she said, quote, "I just generally, once I enter a public place, I become incredibly rude. That's kind of like my only way of defending myself." Even adding that if she sees a fan coming to her table, she'll start wagging her finger and make a mean face. She also apparently bluntly responds no when people ask her for selfies. But obviously this behavior is gonna make you lose some fans, which has happened to Jennifer as a result of these actions. And at number 7, Dove Cameron. Dove Cameron is a Disney star who is beloved by many for her kind personality. However, many fans were shocked to learn that she definitely has a mean side. This all started when a fan tweeted out saying how their goal in life was to have Dove notice her. And well, that goal was achieved, but not in the way that she hoped. Dove ended up replying savagely to that fan, saying, quote, "That's a very small and unimportant life goal. And maybe if I notice you, you'll realize how unfulfilling this is and turn your phone off because celebrities don't matter. Go find yourself in nature and create your own life philosophy. Aim higher, babe." And obviously a statement like this can be interpreted in a lot of ways. It can be implied here that Dove just wanted the fan to realize a high from Dove wouldn't help them get, anywhere in life, and to stop putting so much meaning on it. But obviously the way Dove said this was really harsh, and it was somewhat aggressive for no reason. And at number 6, Reese Witherspoon. Reese Witherspoon is basically America's sweetheart, seemingly on and off screen. But there have been a few incidents that have made people think twice about her nice girl persona, like when she was arrested for a DUI in 2013. Her and her husband were pulled over by an officer, and Reese's husband was given a DUI charge. But then in an effort to fight the charges, and I'm guessing intimidate the officer into letting him go, Reese pulled the "Do you know who I am" card, which is just so cringy when you actually hear it happen in real life. But the fact that she was getting in the officer's face while he was arresting her husband got her arrested for disorderly conduct. And you might be wondering how we know so much about that arrest. Well, the whole incident was actually caught on camera, and America could see Reese get up in arms with law enforcement for 6 minutes straight. Halfway number 5, Alec Baldwin. Honestly, none of you guys should be shocked by seeing Alec Baldwin on this list, because he makes his mean persona well known, especially the paparazzi. He also has a notorious short temper. One of his earliest scandals happened in 1995, where he was placed under a citizen's arrest after punching a cameraman in the face. The altercation happened because a photographer was trying to take a picture of his new daughter, so a lot of people actually took Alec's side with this one. And if this aggression was a one-off, that would be one thing, but unfortunately this isn't the case with Alec. Later on in 2007, he was in the news again for berating his teenage daughter Ireland on a phone call, calling her a selfish little pig, among many other harsh things, just because she didn't pick up the call. Lastly, he was kicked off an American Airlines flight in 2011 after getting aggressive because he was asked to turn off his phone. And honestly, I'm sure there are so much more, but these are just the first few that I could find. In at number 4, Adam Levine. Since Adam Levine has been a host on The Voice, many fans are seeing his true colors, and they aren't pretty. Though Adam has cleaned up his act a bit in recent years after settling down, there was a time where he wasn't a nice guy. In the past, Adam has trash talked a lot of his exes, making for some pretty toxic energy. And of course, we have to mention his feuding with co-stars of The Voice like Christina Aguilera and Miley Cyrus. It seems his co-host Blake Shelton also had problems with him too, as Blake made a comment on a recent episode of the show where Levine is no longer a host, saying, quote, "I want you to look just for a second at this coaching panel. Take a note at who's missing and who's in that chair." Now, I'm not saying that Kelly Clarkson got Adam fired, but he's gone and she's sitting there, okay? Adam Levine has also been accused of being a homewrecker because he had an alleged affair with Jessica Simpson, but that's still just speculation. Lastly, he said in the past that he, quote, "didn't give autographs to ugly chicks." And I just really can't look at him the same way now. And at number 3, Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan must be really rude because he was called out by someone who's been called mean a lot in the past. James Corden. Basically, on Corden's show, during his Fill Your Guts or Spill Your Guts segment, he had Khloe Kardashian on, and she asked Corden who was the rudest celebrity that he had ever met. And after a lot of debating, he blurted out, Pierce Brosnan, as Pierce shoved him at a U2 concert. Corden said, quote, "Pierce Brosnan, I don't think he's a rude man, he just happened to be to me. I went to see U2 and I was there with my friend Lewis and his wife and my wife." Corden went on to say that Pierce was with some friends who left halfway through, but after they had been gone for a while, Corden and his wife moved into the spot to get closer, adding, quote, "So me and my wife moved into this area and literally I've never felt anything like it. This arm went on here and just pushed me out of the way. And I looked at him and he didn't even glance at me and he just moved back into his area." So I guess here Corden was really salty that Brosnan forcefully took his seat back. On the one hand, I can see why Brosnan was a bit rude, as he probably thought Corden was trying to steal his seat, but obviously he could have handled it with, words, not actions. And at number 2, Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer is another person who has been in some unsavory encounters with fans. One time that got a lot of press was in New York City, when an Upper West Side Equinox asked her to present her membership card, which is standard practice at the upscale fitness club. But she refused, claiming that since she was so famous and everyone knew who she was, she didn't need to check in. One source told Page 6, quote, "She felt entitled to just walk in. She didn't want to show her key fob and wanted to be able to go in and not be questioned." The source continued, quote, "It was clear that Amy wanted to go in under the radar and not even stop to have the desk clerk look up her account on the computer." So we can chalk this one up to a classic case of celebrities being entitled, I guess. And finally, number 1, Dan Aykroyd. So Dan is another person who is not at all what they seem to be on screen, with an overwhelming consensus that he's really awful in real life. He currently lives in a small suburb of Ontario, and many residents have shared their experiences living in the same place as Aykroyd online. Many residents say that Aykroyd travels with a group of bodyguards that are notorious for being rude and intimidating. One story in particular said, quote, "We were enjoying a post-bar snack at a pita pit in Kingston when Dan Aykroyd and his entourage cut in front of a large line of people. Dan ordered a few pitas and slapped down a $100 bill. When the cashier told him that they didn't accept $100 or $50 bills, he became very enraged and yelled that he, quote, owned this town. He stormed out of the store swearing and making a scene. Apparently one of the people there called him out on his behavior, thankfully, but this definitely doesn't seem like a one-time thing." So that's all for the list, guys. Let me know your thoughts below. But before I go, I'm going to shout out some comments from my video on celebrities who were fired from SNL. MLG Gamer said, "Lauren Michaels, we love you, Michaela. We think you should have your own show." Me. That's one way of letting someone know they're fired gently. Yeah, that's kind of like a weird, yeah, you're just so good, you should be above us. Don't believe it for a second. Another user said, "I'm not sure who's writing the skits, but they all need to be fired." Yeah, the more recent ones are really bad. Then Prep For It said, "I personally think Hollywood hides the fact really well that Lauren Michaels is a jerk." Interesting. I haven't gotten that vibe, but I mean, something could definitely be coming out soon. Alright guys, that's all for the video today. Thank you so much for sticking around if you made it all the way here. If you liked the video and want to see some more, make sure to like and sub to the channel below. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith, and I will catch you all in the next one.